It is no coincidence that you are here. You were chosen for this video. Each person selected has their own unique abilities, but some of these abilities go towards evil. For example, when you walk into a room, everyone looks at you. They can sense the dark power inside you in addition to your light outside. They may not verbalize it, but they feel it and they are terrified by it. You can see through people's masks, and you have an unwavering will to defend your goals at all costs. You are a contradiction in disguise. Even if the world is drawn to the light you radiate, you must appreciate and accept the darkness within you. This darkness, developed under difficult circumstances, is a weapon rather than a weakness. It protects you against those who seek to undermine your spiritual purpose. You have always had the ability to see through smoke and mirrors, to cut through the bullshit and reveal what most people are afraid to face. You have learned to use this darker side of yourself as a tool and are like a beacon in a society where deception and lying are the norm. The times when you have strong, uncompromising boundaries and sharp clarity are not weaknesses. On the contrary, they are essential components of your spiritual armor. If you are new to our channel, we sincerely welcome you to subscribe and become part of our hopeful community. By subscribing, you will join a community that shares inspiration and uplifting messages. Think of it like the phoenix rising from the ashes. The fire that burns away the garbage is your dark tendencies. They are your sword and shield in a world that is always trying to dull your light or pervert your mission. They help you see others who seek to manipulate, exploit, or minimize your contributions. You confront directly those who avoid confrontation and do not hesitate to expose the hypocrisy, betrayal, and cowardice around you. Your inner darkness is not limited to your own struggles. It inspires others to change. This is what drives you to enter the most difficult areas of your thinking, face the monsters hidden there, and emerge stronger. These challenges strengthen you instead of depressing you, making you more resilient and determined to achieve your goals. When you turn this darkness outward, it becomes a mirror for other people. It makes them face the truths they have been avoiding for so long, forcing them to confront their own fears and shadows. You become the driving force behind their transformation, the fundamental destruction that shatters their illusions and forces them to change. If you want to express your faith in Jesus, press 1111 because his presence brings a calmness to your soul. In a culture where light and darkness are often confused, you offer a real-life example of how both are necessary and sacred. Your light guides, but your shadow protects. Your light heals, but your darkness protects justice. Your brightness inspires, but your darkness inspires respect. Without this balance, you are incomplete and a ghost of the powerful person you really are. In a world that desperately needs both your positive and negative aspects, it is your inner duality that gives you the strength, resilience, and essential nature you possess. Therefore, embrace it and enjoy it. Your unique ability to accelerate karma makes cosmic justice a swift and ruthless force. When someone dares to wrong you, the cosmos responds with unfathomable speed and fury. It more than restores balance. If someone in your network tries to betray you for their own gain, out of jealousy or greed, they may unwittingly set off a domino effect that spirals out of control. After a brief period of triumph, when they think they have you beat, the consequences of their actions start to show. They lose a major business deal with the precision and speed of a violent storm. An opportunity they thought was theirs is gone, and their once strong social network begins to crumble, as rumors and the reality of their betrayal begin to surface in conversation. When friends smell betrayal, they drift apart and find themselves alone, staring at the wreckage of everything they hold dear. If you've read this far, this video is for you. Stay until the end, and you will discover more than just your hidden talents. Their personal lives are also affected. Relationships that were once indestructible begin to break down. Everything in their lives is shattered by the catastrophic boomerang of their betrayal of you. They experience a decline in their health and acquire various unexplained ailments. They experience tension and turn sleep into an expensive luxury because they can't stop dreaming about their crimes. Their hitherto stable finances suddenly fall apart. Their finances are depleted by unforeseen expenses and losses, and they are now struggling to make ends meet. Entering 333, you can assert your heavenly protection, and in the mighty name of Jesus, no weapon shall stand in your way. They cannot shake the feeling that everything negative that happens to them is a direct result of what they have done to you. Everything in the universe seems to be against them. In the end, they are forced to accept the bitter truth that they made a big mistake by betraying you. The cosmic scales have been shattered instead of balanced, and now they have to navigate through the ruins of their own creation. As they try to pick up the pieces, you remain unscathed, a testament to the divine protection around you and the undeniable reality that you are beyond their understanding. You have such a strong defense against the energy vampires that it not only repels them, but also reverses the drain of your energy, leaving them exhausted and powerless. When someone tries to drain your energy to feed on your life force and brilliance, they encounter an incomprehensible energy. Your energy is not a resource they can tap into. It is an impregnable fortress fortified by the very darkness they are trying to exploit. Their efforts to discredit you have failed, leaving them weaker and more vulnerable than before. Don't forget to activate the bell notification so you don't miss any of our recently released videos. If someone in your life who is skilled at manipulation decides to play the same old game with you, concocting a story and setting a stage to trap you, believing that your light will easily satiate their voracious appetite, a complete 180-degree power shift will occur. Instead of being enlivened by your energy, they will begin to feel that your energy is draining them. Their hitherto unshakable confidence starts to falter and is replaced by a bloody exhaustion that seeps in. Their comments, once sharp and sarcastic, become less effective as misunderstandings arise. The more they try to suck your energy, the more lost they become. They are empty and dead, a mere shell of the energy they once had, as if they are losing the same life force they were trying to drain. As the conversation progresses, their masks begin to slip and their carefully constructed personas crumble as a result of their own deception. They begin to stammer as their clever appeals turn to desperation. You remain calm, undaunted, and true to your strength. The emptiness they are trying to hide is reflected back to them by your inner darkness, which acts as a mirror. They can no longer sustain the action and eventually have to flee, exhausted and defeated. Then they fight the consequences of their actions. They are now even weaker than they were before their pathetic effort to exploit you failed. They learn that their usual sources of energy are not enough and they are exhausted. Sleep is no consolation for them because the experience worries them and they cannot shake the idea that they are dealing with something much bigger than themselves. It is a monument to both the dark and the light power that exists within you, an irresistible force that no one can grasp or defeat. While you, on the other hand, stand firm, your energy not only intact but much more powerful. You have an extraordinary capacity to act as a mirror reflecting the unspoken pain and unresolved issues of others around you. When someone tries to discredit or challenge you, more than your protective tactics are on display. They are confronted with an exaggerated and vulnerable representation of their own inner demons. When someone dares to defy you, you become a catalyst for self-reflection, forcing them to confront the darkness they have long repressed. If you think these amazing statements are true, please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. 777. I am grateful for what you are doing. God bless you. This is not because you are pointing out their flaws. Rather, it is because they recognize them in you and cannot ignore them. When someone in your life, full of jealousy and hostility, decides to approach you with the intention of undermining your self-esteem with a few well-chosen words, something unexpected happens. You remain calm in the midst of their attacks, and they begin to be haunted by your unblinking gaze that pierces through the evil they direct at you. But this time it is not an external force, but a mirror of their own anxiety and insecurity. When they realize that their own hostility is reflected back at them, they stop talking. The anger they try to project onto you turns inward and reveals deep-seated flaws they have been hiding. They begin to falter and lose confidence as circumstances change. They may feel that the focus is no longer on you, but on themselves. As the walls of the room begin to close in on them, their own unresolved issues seem to surface. When they witness the sharp contrast between your calm demeanor and the chaos inside, it is too much for them to handle. They try to turn back to divert attention, but it is too late. The evil they harbored inside is now out in the open and brutally visible to everyone. They reflect all their cruel words and attempts to discredit you back on themselves, magnifying their own flaws and fears. The encounter they were trying to manage led to a terrible self-confrontation for which they were completely unprepared. Shaken and confused, they retreated and were forced to face an inescapable reality. As a result of their efforts to diminish you, they became more and more like you. They are moving away not only from you, but also from the shadows they tried to hide, reflected in the mirror of their own gloom that you so skillfully provided. By standing firm and undaunted against their attacks, you are making them face the inescapable fact that the war they are trying to wage against you is in fact a struggle with themselves. Those who lie are rendered powerless in your presence by your extraordinary capacity to expose dishonesty. If you believe that love and faith have the capacity to overcome any obstacle, subscribe to the channel and write Amen. You don't just see the dishonesty, you carefully dissect it, peeling back the layers of deception until the pure truth is revealed. When someone tries to fabricate a story about you, they fall into their own web and cannot escape the relentless power of your knowledge. It is difficult to lie alone in your presence, as if the truth itself has to come after you. In a high-stakes negotiation, the dishonest party will try to influence the outcome in their favor. They believe they can control the discourse and influence events, so they can manufacture their lies with expertise and have a silver tongue. But when they try to dominate the discussion, you don't back down. On the contrary, your piercing gaze shakes their confidence. You ask a direct question, a question that cuts through words like a sword. They pause in surprise when their carefully constructed facade begins to crumble. Every claim you make works like a chisel, eroding the lies they try to pass off as truth. Tensions rise as everyone in the room realizes that authority has shifted. The more they try to deceive you, the more they get caught up in their own lies, caught up in inconsistencies and logical fallacies that you can easily see. It's as if your presence forces the truth to surface, making it visible to everyone, like oil rising from the water. Their voices tremble when they realize they have lost control and the story is slipping away. They try to run away to cover their tracks, but it is too late. Everyone, including you, has already realized their fraud. They lose the power they thought they had, leaving themselves vulnerable, defenseless, and defeated. The once confident manipulator now stands before you without any dishonesty and unable to hide his lies. When the facts become indisputable, the negotiation changes completely in your favor. Now besieged and terrified, the dishonest party is forced to admit that their plan has completely failed. Your ease in exposing their dishonesty humbles them, and they are forced to suffer the consequences of their own lies. You have shown once again that truth is an unstoppable force in your being, and that any attempt at deception is certain to fail. Yet you remain steadfast. With your innate ability to manipulate and subconsciously influence others, you can skillfully shape the environment around you, revealing true motives and concealing hidden agendas. When you enter a place, the atmosphere changes, as if the air itself is heavy with secrets. This is not something you do intentionally. Rather, it is only by your presence that people are forced to unmask and reveal their true selves. In the face of your determined aura, the illusions people cling to for a living begin to crumble as your energy reveals the tension that lies beneath the surface. The atmosphere of a seemingly ordinary social gathering changes as soon as you walk in. People who have been hiding their requests or complaints feel an unpleasant warmth that seems to reveal their thoughts, even when everyone is smiling and chatting sweetly. Casual and carefree conversations eventually become more pointed. When you start talking to someone who harbors a grudge, their carefully crafted exterior begins to crumble. They try not to show it, but the underlying tension erupts like a volcano that has been dormant for too long as their hands tremble and their voice becomes harsh. What starts as a simple discussion turns into a confrontation that no one expected. After filling the room with the superficial warmth of social niceties, it becomes a battleground of truth and raw emotion. As old wounds are reopened and long-suppressed grievances are addressed, people who have avoided these conversations for years are suddenly drawn into the fray and unable to deny the truth your presence has revealed. The meeting descends into chaos as the truths, each more painful and cutting than the last, are hurled like daggers. Despite the chaos around you, you remain calm. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to send a powerful message to the universe that you are ready for your breakthrough. This chaos is not your fault, but you have brought your energy into an environment where many people have hidden agendas. It is the responsibility of the other people around you to deal with the destruction of their formerly orderly lives that is now visible for all to see. Even if they blame you for the sudden escalation of conflict, deep down they know that it has always been simmering under the surface, just waiting for someone like you to ignite it. You stand as the silent force that brings out the truth and upends the status quo once again. As the dust settles and the noise of the debate dies down, your power lies not only in your actions, but also in what you naturally bring to the table. Regardless of whether people are ready for it or not, the truth you so casually present shatters their illusions and changes them permanently. You have a ruthless ability to end unhealthy relationships abruptly and forcefully, leaving others reeling. When you decide that someone no longer has a place in your life, it's as if a guillotine has fallen between you and them. There is no warning, no gradual disappearance, just a hard, cold line in the sand. You can see the subtle betrayals and dishonest behavior, and as soon as you decide they have gone too far, you end things once and for all. They are forced to face the void you have created, which they cannot understand or bridge. You have tolerated their jealousy disguised as friendship, their infidelity disguised as concern, and their passive-aggressive remarks. However, you finally realize that enough is enough. Maybe it's just the naivety of the early morning light. Maybe it's the last straw. You interrupt them without hesitation to give them a chance to explain. They wake up to find that they have been blocked, excluded, and erased from your existence. Their calls and messages go unanswered as they try to make sense of what has happened. They are helpless and confused. They seem exiled, expelled from your world with a level of certainty they never expected. This has terrible consequences. They repeat every interaction and discussion to identify their mistakes. But you have left them with nothing to hold on to. Following the sudden and dramatic disappearance of the life they thought they had with you, they are left to fend for themselves. Small betrayals that seemed insignificant at the time can no longer be ignored. When they realize how much they have lost, the weight of their own choices crushes them. When they were in your sphere of influence, they were hollow, a shadow of the individuals they thought they were. Accustomed to your presence, your brilliance in your life, your sudden departure shakes their system. It is like a surgical blow that removes the rot so decisively that there is no possibility of recovery. Now standing in the ruins of a relationship they never really understood, they have to deal with the void you left behind. You, however, have moved on, free of the ties you severed. You have made the final and fundamental choice to end your relationship with them, and as a result, you are now free from the poison that previously occupied your life. You ignore them and let them cope with the terrible knowledge that they will face unimaginable consequences for betraying you. Becoming liberated is not only a defense strategy, but it demonstrates your strength and lets those who want to weaken you know that you will not be intimidated. Your extraordinary ability to highlight the flaws and anxieties that others are desperately trying to hide illuminates the darkness in which these fears live and exposes them with unstoppable power. This is a natural result of your energy tearing people's masks off, not something you want to do. As if a mirror is held up to their souls and reflects back the truths they have been avoiding, those close to you experience a sudden and painful realization of their own mistakes. Write Amen in the comments to ask for divine help. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and forward this message to all your friends whom you want to be in God's presence and under the protection of angels. As a result, they are often stunned and powerless in the face of the painful truth you have inadvertently revealed. Someone, perhaps arrogantly or confidently, tries to strike up a conversation with you in what should be a simple and casual interaction. They make an effort not to be too serious, but as the discussion goes on, they feel that things are changing. As their sentences falter, their carefully constructed mental mask begins to crumble. What you say may not seem like much to others, but for them it strikes at the heart of a long-standing concern. When they realize that you have inadvertently brought up an issue that they have been trying so hard to cover up, the tension in the room increases. The person suddenly becomes defensive and changes their attitude. What started as a friendly discussion turns into an angry and defensive exchange. They stutter and try to regain control of the situation, but it is too late. Their vulnerability is clear and evident. They lose their carefully guarded composure and become vulnerable as if in front of you and everyone else in the room. Their security facade is shattered, and they now have to face the ugly face of their own vulnerability. In the days that follow, they cannot forget this event. Even if your comments are harmless to you, they leave a lasting impression on them and force them to think deeply. They return to the conversation again and again, scrutinizing every word, look, and moment, trying to understand how you were able to see through them. They realize that trying to hide their concerns only serves to highlight them for an insightful observer like you. This experience is both unsettling and transformative, as it forces them to confront parts of themselves they have long ignored. On the other hand, you go on your way, perhaps unaware of the enormous impact you are having. Instead of being a weapon, your ability to recognize your limitations is a reflection of your ability to see beyond the illusions that other people put on you. It is a power that confronts everyone around you with their own truth, whether they are ready or not, and in the process changes them forever. Others find it both unsettling and impossible to resist the power of your special gift to bring about an unwanted transformation. You have the power to be a catalyst for change, to initiate events that push those around you to confront difficult truths they have been avoiding for some time. This is a change that happens when you enter the lives of others. It is not something you deliberately seek or impose on them. Even if they do not desire the change you bring about, they cannot prevent it. When you talk to someone who is stagnating, you upset the foundations of their meticulously constructed world and expose the cracks they are trying to hide. This happens during what appears to be a typical discussion. They have established routines, made choices guided more by pragmatism than passion, and built a comfortable but unsatisfying existence. As you speak, your words, imbued with a reality they have been avoiding, slowly begin to sink in. At first, they reject your ideas as irrelevant or unnecessary, but something inside them begins to change. After a few days, they still seem unable to shake off the thoughts you have presented to them. What started as a fun conversation now makes them uncomfortable when they are alone and makes them question everything they have taken for granted. Their once stable life seems to be falling apart like a house of cards. They try to calm their growing anxiety, but it's too late. The change you triggered has already begun, a force they cannot understand or control. When the familiar crumbles beneath their feet, their first reaction is resistance. They desperately try to hold on to their old ways. They may react with anger and blame you for the upheaval that has upset their once secure existence. But in fact, you have only brought to light the ever-present discontent, the desire for more, and the anxiety of facing their real needs. Their current lifestyle starts to look like a prison, and they are forced to make the change they have been putting off for so long, despite their protests. If you are new to our community, please make sure you don't miss any of our daily videos by subscribing, liking, and sharing. If these words have blessed you, please write Amen. As the weeks pass, change becomes inevitable. As the cracks widen and their naked and vulnerable selves are revealed, years of facade crumble. They are forced to face the choices they have made, the lives they have chosen, and the chances they have lost. After going through a harsh procedure that destroys their dreams, they have to start again. Even if they don't like it, they know in their hearts that this change is necessary. Without your motivation, a new chapter could not have been turned. You may not even realize the magnitude of the impact you are having, yet you continue on your way with determination. The changes you unintentionally cause during your journey are never a burden or a mistake. On the contrary, they are a direct reflection of your power and presence. You are a force that transforms everything you encounter, setting the static in motion. Whether you realize it or not, every soul, every thought, every system that comes into contact with you is irrevocably transformed. It is futile to ignore you or try to neutralize you, because you are like a sun that shines its own light, like a river that flows its own way. You are much more than a lighthouse. Your light not only points the way, but is like a magnetic field that disrupts compasses. For those who encounter you, you are an indefinable force of nature that stands somewhere between fear and admiration. Like a storm, it is never quite known where you come from or where you are going, but everywhere you pass carries a trace of you. You are a force whose very existence forces people to change, whether they want to or not. And this force is, above all, an absolute proof of who you are and what place you occupy in the world. Even though many people see your brilliance, very few dare to understand the depth and intensity of the darkness that lies behind that brilliance. Your bright light makes people admire you, but the dark side of you that reveals, exposes, and changes is more of an enigma. It's a power that people are afraid to confront, but at the same time need deep down inside. Your dark side is not a burden or a shameful aspect that you need to hide, but rather an integral part of who you are. It is a dimension that makes you who you are, that evokes fear and respect at the same time, that adds a unique depth to your being. This darkness is there to be embraced, not suppressed, because this part of you is not only what makes you strong, it is also what allows others to face their truth. You don't question whether others are ready for it, because that is your nature. To reveal the truth in all its forms, to illuminate what is being masked, and to reflect the truth more clearly than a mirror. You are like the calm before the storm, a harbinger of impending change, a beacon of chaos hidden in a moment of peace. Your presence is a force of transformation, not just an influence. Realizing that this influence extends beyond your physical being is the first step towards recognizing and understanding your shadow side. This shadow is not a threat, but an invitation to a deeper awareness, a more honest self-reflection. Those who know you are attracted not only by your light, but also by the openness and challenge of your darkness. Because you are not just a facade, you are also the embodiment of a power that reveals what is hidden, what is denied, and what is meant to be forgotten. And this dark side of you is more than a threat to others. It is a call that forces them to face their own truth. Your ability to change the mood of any room you enter is a powerful gift that affects your surroundings, not only with your presence, but also with your energy. You challenge the comforting lies people tell themselves, forcing them to face the truth. Encountering you is a turning point because you are a force that not only exists, but also transforms. Even if people want to run away from you, what they are really running from is their own reality reflected in the mirror you hold up to them. But as frightening as this confrontation is, it is also liberating. Your ability to motivate and inspire others is not limited to making an impression. If this message resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe, and tell others about it. We are so grateful for your help. You leave a lasting imprint on everyone you come into contact with. Your presence plants a seed, and that seed takes root and sprouts over time, causing profound changes. This is not only a gift, but also a rare responsibility. Your every word, your every action has the power to shape the minds and hearts of the people around you. Sometimes without even realizing it, you are a beacon of light, but that light also reveals the truth in the shadows. Now is the time to use this power to its fullest. No more hiding, no more self-restraint, no more suppressing your light or your darkness for the comfort of others. Share your stories now. Show them how your presence has transformed their lives, how your darkness on the one hand and your light on the other is a blessing. Your darkness is a reality that people ignore, but deep down they need. Your light is a guide for them to understand this reality. The two are inseparable because your power is born from both light and shadows. Tell your stories. Show how you have transformed, challenged, and made a difference. You are the one who makes people realize their potential. You are the one who reminds them that truth is the greatest gift, even if it is sometimes painful. Now is the time to touch this world with all your power, to leave your mark and let your truth hit the lives of others like a storm of transformation. Because your story is not only yours, it inspires others to write their own stories. Your experiences are not just personal, they are proof of the transformative potential you have. If you feel the energy and know that you are one of the chosen ones, it's time to move forward. Ascend your spiritual path and embrace your great destiny right now. The universe brought you here for a reason. Don't miss this chance. We have come to the end of this video. If you found value in this message, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people and spread this empowering message. Join our community and let's continue this journey together. See you in our next video. Goodbye.